An off duty police officer shot his brother in law, and I don't know what to think. So, this is about the death of Hunter Allen. I swan dove into this case last night, and I'm kind of surprised by what I found and how it makes me feel. Hunter Allen is from Jonesboro, Arkansas. In high school, he had a high school sweetheart from like ages 15 to 18, according to his obituary, named Ryan or Ryan. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I believe it's Ryan. So Ryan and Hunter went their separate ways, but about 10 years after high school, they got back together. So pretty recently. Ryan has a brother named Brett Williams. Brett Williams is a police officer with the Truman Police Department. So now I think the easiest thing to do is to basically just go through the narrative of what happened using the 911 call logs. So according to the 911 call logs on February 11th at basically 11:26, a few seconds short of 11:26, Brett Williams, who was off duty at the time and not even in his jurisdiction where he works, called 911. And the narrative for 911 says caller advised sister's husband, Hunter Allen, struck his sister and mother. Caller stated he had a firearm pointed on him. Caller stated there was too many people there for him to keep wrestling with subject. Glock 15. Hunter is intoxicated. Mel has now locked himself in the house with caller's sister and mother and stepfather. Caller is locked outside. Line went dead while public service. The second entry says caller stated he is off-duty officer for Truman Police Department. He was supposed to be there to pick up people from getting too drunk. The phone number the caller is calling from shows to be associated and belonging to Ryan Allen, and then something is marked out. The caller is an off-duty officer. The wife that was struck is going to be Ryan Allen. Second caller. Male has now been shot in the chest. So the initial call was made at 23:25:52, and by 23:30:55, Hunter had been shot in the chest. That's 5 minutes and 3 seconds. The narratives continue. Sister's husband was shot. Male shooter is standing out front, advised to put firearm away and have hands up. The net is direct. Male is breathing. Male is responsive. Victim is breathing and responsive. Shot in the chest times 2. Shooter is still on scene. He is currently speaking to an officer on scene. So by that time, police and first responders were on the scene. Police are trying to figure out what happened, and first responders are trying to help Hunter Allen. Now, he was supposed to have a helicopter land. They actually did prepare for a helicopter to land to take Hunter Allen to the hospital for treatment, but they later changed and decided to take Hunter Allen by ambulance. I think at that point, Hunter Allen was having to have chest compressions. So it was going downhill pretty fast, right? I believe by the time they got to the hospital, the ambulance said that they had been doing chest compressions for somewhere like 30 minutes. And I have to add, I got several messages regarding the Hunter Allen case, and I think there are a couple of comments in other videos about Hunter Allen, and people requesting that I do videos or dive into this case. So that's really why I looked it up to begin with. But I went on Facebook after I read the narrative from 911. I took to Facebook like I do sometimes when I'm being nosy. And I found some posts that I found, to be pretty interesting. Now, to be fair, like this first post, it's from Hunter's sister, Ashley Allen. And Hunter's family's hurting, right? And families say things when they are hurting. So just keep that in mind as I go through this post. Can anyone answer me why Ryan Williams set up a GoFundMe account? She posted that the motive of Hunter's murder was not for his life insurance policy because she stated Hunter Allen did not have one, nor did he have any money. I'm curious how they were going to afford a new house. She just recently gave birth to another child, and as parents, we all know how expensive one kid can be. I can't even imagine how expensive numerous kids could be. How was they going to pay for the new house she wanted? The appointment was already made for the paperwork to be signed and finalized. The appointment was missed because it was made for the day after Hunter was murdered. For everyone who made donations, I'm sure she is very grateful and appreciative to everyone who donated. The funeral arrangements have all been made, and she is finishing up on the paperwork as I'm typing on the purchase of a new vehicle. Wow, you friends must be very generous. Must be nice to have such caring and giving friends. Makes a person wonder. As for her injury on her head that was reported to happen at the scene of the crime, well, I have documentation that her injury to her head occurred at their house after Hunter pushed her off of him because she was hitting him in the face. Was there other adults in the house where this argument started, or does Paisley count as being an adult? That's a big responsibility for a little girl to watch all those children, but I'm sure she has a lot of, and I believe that's supposed to be practice. If her mom and brother were there with them, why did they all have to go get Hunter? Makes sense if one of them drove her because she was intoxicated and they wasn't, and all the other non-intoxicated adults stay there with all the kids, or was all the adults intoxicated and drinking and driving? Hunter's other sister that Ryan called tried to talk Ryan into leaving Hunter alone till things calmed down, but she insisted she was going to get him because he didn't need to miss work. She kept elaborating on the subject, even though his sister told her that his mom would ensure that he made it to work. His sister was told, "He is my husband and he needs to be home." If they had an appointment to sign papers for the new house the next morning, why would he be going to work? There's just so much that doesn't make sense. I am now blocked from my deceased brother's Facebook account as well. Ashley also posted this: "Justice for Hunter. Brett Williams, I hope you rot in hell for what you did. You're a disgrace to mankind, but you wasn't alone in this premeditated murder scheme. Your main accomplice, Ryan Williams," yes, I said Williams because you don't deserve the Allen name. "Hunter left the house to cool down and get away from your stupid ass. You put so much pressure on him about building a new house, wanting this, wanting that, etc., that he left his own house because he was leaving to actually unalive himself because he couldn't take the pressure from you anymore. He called his brother because he needed someone to talk to. He met his brother at his mom's house and he calmed him down. His brother convinced and watched him unload his gun and take out the bullet in the chamber. As they was talking and laughing now, Hunter had sobered up and they saw Ryan, her mom, and her brother pull up. Hunter had walked on back to use the restroom while everyone in the front room was talking. Ryan went to the restroom where Hunter was and got his unloaded gun and brought it out and gave it to her brother. Cameron at this point thought things were okay and went down the road to his grandmother's to get some rest because he thought things were okay. Little did he know he would be getting a phone call shortly after saying Hunter had been shot. When Cameron arrived, he saw his brother, who was laughing and smiling when he left him, laying on the ground with bullet holes in him. I'm not sure what kind of fight went on, but how could a trained police officer not be able to take control of the situation without the use of an armed weapon? A weapon that was just previously disarmed not minutes before that. So many questions. Did the officer load the weapon right after Ryan gave him the weapon? How did he have enough time to load the weapon after the fight started if he was trying to break it up? Was he not skilled enough to de-escalate the situation without having to use arm protection? Why was two shots needed? Why was the chest aimed for first instead of a foot, hand, etc., somewhere else less invasive, especially to an unarmed person? Could someone please answer these questions for me? We, the family, deserve answers. Hunter deserves justice. Without explanation, the whole thing looks planned, premeditated. Ryan supposedly knew my brother. She knew he needed time to cool down, but instead of giving him that, I now have a brother who has been murdered. How do you sleep at night, Ryan? And what was the reason? Was it money? Life insurance? What was the motive? I don't understand. So that's pretty much what I have for now. It seems like Ryan and Hunter had a disagreement. Hunter decided to leave to cool down, maybe to unalive himself, like his sister said. And then that situation was de escalated. But Ryan and her mom and brother went out seeking Hunter, trying to force him to go back home. And then within a short amount of time, Hunter is dead with 2 gunshot wounds to his chest. It is a very difficult situation. I don't understand why force was used like that either. I would love to have that question answered. In my opinion, which doesn't mean diddly squat to literally anyone, I don't think that just because you are a licensed police officer in Truman that you should get to shoot people anywhere for any reason. I mean, what is the reasoning for deadly force? I don't think that anything shows that Brett's life was in danger. I don't even think that Ryan's life was in danger. So, what is the reasoning for the shooting? That, to me, that's not justified. But what is your opinion? And I do want to say, I'm not trying to run down Ryan Allen. I don't know anything about her. All I know is what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing just looks, I don't know, shady, but is it shady to Ryan or is it shady to Brett or what? I can't really say. This is going to be about the murder of Hunter Allen. I've already posted about this once, but I'm going to continue posting until an arrest is made in this case. Hunter Allen was murdered at what I believe to be his parents' home in Monett, Arkansas on February 11th. Hunter had left his own home, avoiding his wife because she was drinking and acting erratically. He was having a lot of pressures because of financial responsibilities. And instead of just allowing him to get away, take a breather, have some space, his wife went to his parents' home with her mother and her brother in tow. Now, her brother, Brett Williams, is a police officer with the Truman Police Department. I've not heard a single good thing about the Truman Police Department, but that's aside from the point. For more details on the timeline of the murder of Hunter Allen, follow this comment to the video that I originally posted. Really, what I want to cover in this video is that I received an email that contained a message. It was really a screenshot of a Facebook post that Ryan Allen posted to Facebook shortly after Hunter's murder, and then she deleted her post. I just find it to be super interesting. So, because it's a little bit blurry, I'm going to read this to you. So, Ryan said, I'm going to say this, and this will be all I defend myself over. Hunter and I had a love like no other. The ones who knew us knew. These rumors you will hear are just that. Hunter had no life insurance. I don't want any money. I don't want attention. I'd give it all to have him back. He was not murdered in cold blood. I will never tell the whole story, not because I have anything to hide, but because my Hunter Allen was gold, and I'll leave it at that. So, F y'all saying I'm after money or I don't deserve his last name when y'all made him have the demons he had and haven't talked to him in 10 years. I love you, baby, always and always. We knew us. So some of that is just really interesting to me. How she said these rumors you will hear are just that. Also, how she said that she will never tell the whole story, not because she has anything to hide, because Hunter was gold and she'll leave it at that. But if you loved Hunter so much, then why wouldn't you tell what actually happened? I mean, is she going to say that she followed Hunter over there, but then he attacked her? Because other people have messaged me and said that the bump that was on her head or the cut that was on her head came from him trying to get away from her, not from him attacking her. And honestly, in my mind, even if he did do something like hit her, which I cannot defend domestic violence, but is there any reason for her brother to have put bullets in his chest? I mean, please tell us all about the life or death situation that required that use of force. But that's the thing, isn't it? She is too busy defending Brett Williams to ever defend Hunter Allen. Was it set up? I don't know. Was it planned? I have no idea. What I do know is that I don't see any way that Brett Williams had any reason to put two in Hunter Allen's chest, and there's just not a way around that. And the more that comes out about this case, the more I am convinced of that. There has been an update in the Hunter Allen murder case. This isn't exactly an update with the murder case itself, but this is an update with Ryan Allen, his wife. Ryan Allen has decided to post to Facebook. So let's look at what she said. She said, all right, you want me to talk? Let's effing talk. The best daddy ever. Where was that energy when he fought so hard to see his son? Kills you, he's growing up without him. He hasn't had but 2 overnight weekends with him in 2 years because of you and your mother's lies. Your fake Facebooks you stalked us on, talking shit on, false order of protections you filed, assaulting us at a gas station. Your brother got arrested for telling him he was going to unalive him, but Billy, rip Hunter, you will be missed. Oh, wait, didn't Billy pull his pistol on him once? Sure, I got that video too. Let's not forget y'all saying he put Gavin in the oven. Oh, and lied saying Gavin is nonverbal autistic. He sure talked a lot for a nonverbal child. Remember when you called CPS on me when Sway was 2 weeks old? You're fake as they effing come. Hunter got away from you and found his happy. You got knocked up and he got stuck with you because he was worried this is what you would do if he left. Sorry you never got past that, babe. Call me the murderer all you want, but thankfully he had true love because he left your hell of a marriage. You never fought for him back. You fought to take his son away from him. Live with that for the rest of your miserable life. And Ashley Allen, you're so upset. Did you not know I had to beg him to let you come to our baby shower and let you meet Sway? What was it, 10 years you didn't talk to him? Then Shauna Hunter and I all said, did she seem high to you when she almost dropped Gavin down the stairs? Junkie Pillhead who got fired from being a nurse stealing pills. Yes, Hunter and I were buying a house. We have been looking for one for 3 months and finally found one that we closed on in 3 weeks. There were no papers to sign the next day. We were still waiting on our inspection. Or was I building a house too? I wanted him to get to work because he had a 90 days probation period or he'd be fired. Bet y'all didn't know Canfield fired him for missing too much because Ray made him leave early on days he was allowed to see his son. Steve, you were never a father to him. I watched you beat, throw beer bottles at his head, punch him, not feed him, and much more. You aren't worth the light of day. He'd be so furious if he knew Ray was letting you see his son again. Just another way to Ray to hurt him, even in the afterlife. Did you know he was fighting depression and anxiety slash PTSD for the past 2 years and he was in therapy for help? He left the house to go unalive himself after he had a psychotic break, so I went to save him from his mother's house, who was moving dope out before the police arrived. Do you know he told me if he ever ended up there to go get him no matter what? He's my husband. Why the F wouldn't I go get him? He has never assaulted me until that night. I wasn't going to let him stay there. He hates his family besides his mom, Shauna, Lauren, and his granny. His mom doesn't recall a single event that happened, I promise you that. His brother saying he was sobered up and happy. When I walked in, he had 2 beers in his hand, still drinking. Cameron would call and Hunter would ignore it every time. Family had to call Hunter and beg him to invite Cameron to our wedding. Y'all want to drag my name? Effing drag it. I know every truth. Y'all sure were praising me in all the text I have from saving him from Ray and making him so happy again. You have no idea what went on with Hunter's personal life and what he was dealing with. Hunter had no life insurance. Hunter was happy and found God again. Not a single one of y'all checked in unless we had court for his son. As for me buying a car, yes, I'm trying to. And Central Cadillac Chevrolet can kiss my effing ass for letting their employees take a picture and send it to his family. Hunter bought me a car and only his name was on it, so that will be repossessed. I went to see if I could trade in my Suburban since he drove that, and it pains me to sit in it. Y'all are so fake dope slash pillhead people who want attention. So here you go, you got it. TikTok, you got it. If Hunter ever saw me being assaulted, I can promise you he wouldn't have gave as many chances as my brother did. My brother and him were family, so close. They hunted together. This wasn't a cold-blooded, oh, I'm a beaten wife revenge. Should I have went and got him? Yes, I should have. He needed me to. He needed more help than I actually realized living with him. If you don't think I don't blame myself, you're mistaken. He was my world. This is not me being the victim or making it all about his family and not recognizing it was my brother who had to do what he did. This is me telling y'all to shut the F up until you hear both sides and y'all needing to accept your own damn guilt for not being there for him when he needed it. So much had led up to this one night. The handful of people that Hunter was friends with and talked to know. They knew us, they knew his struggles, and they have let me lean on them, thankfully. To his friends from high school who came to his funeral and caused a scene, he thought nothing of y'all, so y'all didn't have to come. You could have gone to the other family funeral if you didn't want to listen to the BS I had to say. So you wanted your Facebook fame? Here you go, dears. Some images and videos are graphic. I will say, without a doubt, this is the first time he's ever laid a hand on me. If you know someone who needs help, please make sure you do everything in your power to help them. This wasn't my Hunter I knew. He would never harm me, but he would never put up with his quote unquote family slandering me and not letting me mourn and grieve him. I can do two things. I can run and effing hide. I can curl up in a ball and let the world beat me to death, or I can dig my effing heels in. I can dig in and fight. I have a quote installed in my brain now. It says, may God have mercy on my enemies because I won't. So let's effing go. Hunter, you fought so hard these last 2 years, and I'm so effing proud of you. I know you loved me. You know I loved you. The kids thought you hung the moon. I know those last few hours were not you, and I'm sorry I couldn't help more. This isn't me blaming you at all. I knew your love, but I have to share the truth, and I know you'd want me to stand up for all this. This is all public record in Court Connect and Facebook. So whenever is my Facebook friend sending them what I post, send them this. So that's the post that Ryan made to Facebook. Now I'm going to do this in two parts because I, in all honesty, have a job that I have to actually do today. But I wanted to go ahead and post this, and then I'll post the other stuff and go through that here in a little while. It seems like Ryan is a little bit angry about the videos on TikTok. I think she needs to take a little bit of a breather. Here's the deal. She is sitting here saying that he was never abusive to her until that night, openly admitting that there was not a history of abuse in their relationship. I just want to say this again. Even if he was abusive, there was no reason for Brett Williams from the Truman Police Department to go over, follow him over to his mother's house where he was, and put two in his chest. There just wasn't. Ryan says that she's sorry for putting all this information out there. I'm sure she is so sorry for dragging every person in his family through the mud, all while protecting her brother, the one that actually murdered her husband. This is just my opinion, and you don't have to agree with my opinion. Literally, nobody does. It's just my opinion that I'm sharing. But Ryan Allen literally followed her husband after he left. She knew he was in a bad state of mind. She literally followed him with her brother, who is a police officer, and her mother, and whoever else in tow. And then he died as a result of her following him over there. The only thing that this post says to me is that her brother knew that he was having a mental health emergency and chose to shoot him in the chest. That's the only thing it says. She knew that he was having a mental health emergency and has defended his shooting since he was shot. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but are we not advocating for people, police departments to have mental health guidelines in place, mental health skills put in place to know how to deal with these situations where these people are not being shot for having a mental health emergency, a breakdown? And this is me just using what Ryan Allen said in her post because that's what she's saying. She's saying that he was in a bad place mentally. This was the first time that he was ever abusive to her. She knew he was having a breakdown. That's what she said in her post. That, and she, talked crap about all of his family. Like I said, unfortunately, there will be a part two coming later this evening. This will be the second part on Ryan Allen's post concerning her husband, Hunter Allen, and his murder. Now, before we really get into this, I want to ask you all to stay until the end of this video. It's important to me, and there is a real reason behind it. So earlier, I made a post about Ryan Allen's response that she posted to her Facebook. Now, she has since made that post where it's not public or taken it down. I don't know which one, but it's not visible to me. So I was able to get some of the screenshots to share them with you, but I was not able to screen record the videos. But I will tell you what the videos were. So basically, Ryan Allen posted some screenshots. Some of them were from an order of protection that was sought by Hunter Allen's first wife. Now, she sought an order of protection, it looks like 2 times against Hunter, alleging abuse. I don't think that either one of these times were during the course of their marriage, and actually, one of these times involves Ryan herself. But I will read what was written on those documents. This one is a second order of protection. It is the one that involves Ryan herself. So this was from December 2023. It says Stephen Allen put me, Rayanne, and my mom in the hospital on 12/19/23. Stephen threw my mom on the concrete and was punching her in the face. I, Rayanne, ran over to get Stephen off of my mom, and his wife, Ryan Allen, punched me in the face several times. Stephen got off of my mom and threw me in the concrete, punching me in the face. Ryan kicked my ribs, and Stephen kicked my lungs. Stephen hit my head on the tire rim 3 times while telling me to die, die, die. I have 10 stitches in my eye and forehead. And then she goes on to say Stephen put me and my mom in the hospital with several injuries. Stephen kept telling me to die and he was going to unalive me. After Stephen beat/assaulted me, he said, "This is not over. I have several people after you and you will die." She went on to say the cops were called to Southern Chef where all of this happened. I was there to pick up my son from him. I was waiting in the car. Stephen came to my car door and opened my door and told me to get out. He started threatening me. Then his wife gets out of her car and was in my face yelling. I begged them to just let me have my son and go home. They wouldn't let me get my son. They wanted to argue and fight. So that's the second order of protection. Now, I want to say I cannot condone domestic violence. I can't do it because I have been that person that was abused. I don't feel like Ryan posted these because she wanted to say he's an abuser. She posted these because she wanted to say that Rayanne kept Hunter's son from him for some reason. I mean, maybe she did want to also say, well, he was an abuser, but in this, it says that Ryan herself was also punching. So that custody exchange happened in Lake City. Lake City police did charge people with crimes. I can't exactly tell who was charged because under name it says Hunter, comma Ryan, and then it lists the charges. So I don't know if both of them were charged the same. I would assume that, but maybe not. The charges are second-degree battery, third-degree battery, obstruction of governmental operations, contempt of court for failure to pay fines, and a disorderly conduct. It does appear from what Ryan shared that Rayanne and Hunter had a contentious relationship from the time that they separated. I don't know really anything more than that. She did share some text messages that were exchanged between the two of them where Hunter was asking for his son Gavin's social security number, and she was refusing to text it, but saying that she sent it by mail because that was what she was advised to do. And there were some other things. In the first order of protection filing, Ray Ann says on August 5th, 2022, my husband of 9 years told me he wanted a divorce and threw his ring in the trash. The next week, he moved in with his girlfriend, Ryan. I let my son see his dad 3 to 4 times a week. He threatened me that I never let him see him, but I have every video from when he gets him. He blows my phone up all day, every day while I'm working. The Lake City police have been to my mom's house where I live many times, and the police put a criminally removal on our property due to him lying to the police. I don't know what a criminally removal on our property is, but that's just what she said. His girlfriend, Ryan Gibson, has called my work a few times trying to get me fired and threatened to call the dental board on me. They come to my work and sits outside the door and by my car for 45 minutes. My coworkers and I do not feel safe with them showing up at my work. I let Stephen see Gavin Tuesday, September 29th at 4 and told him to please be back at 7:30 due to Gavin having homework. He said no, and he will not let me get him back. He said maybe Monday. He don't know yet. He is very mentally abusive, and I am very scared. So that order of protection was granted for like a very short amount of time. I mean, I don't even think it was granted for a month. It seems like basically the reason that she filed for the order of protection wasn't because she was being abused so much, but it was a way to get Gavin back from Hunter. Now, like I said, it seems that the reason that she is posting this to say that Rayanne kept Gavin away from Hunter because she seems upset that Rayanne posted to Facebook saying, my heart is so broken. Can't wrap my head around this. I'm still in denial. This can't be true. I'm waiting any minute to finally wake up from this nightmare. Me and Gavin love you so much. We always will. I promise to carry your name and remind Gavin of you and all the wonderful memories we created in our 10.5 years together. Gavin will always remember you, and I will never let him forget his daddy. I can't even think about how Gavin will not get to have another hug or kiss from his daddy. Me and Gavin are going to be strong, and I will never stop talking about you to him. This past year, you turned into someone else, and Gavin didn't understand why. But I will make sure he remembers the real you. I will cherish our wonderful memories for the rest of my life. Rest in peace, Hunter Allen. We are so heartbroken. We will always love and miss you. You didn't deserve this. There are some screenshots that Ryan shared herself from, it looks like messages that were sent to her, and some of them from comments that were received. I am going to share those. You will have to pause to read them because I simply don't have enough time left in this video to go through all of that. I need to get to something a little bit, in my mind, more important. Now, Ryan also shared a couple of videos. Now, one video seemed to show Hunter arguing with who I assume would be Rayanne, his ex wife. They were just arguing in a parking lot. There wasn't any like audio on the video of them arguing. They just appeared to be arguing in a parking lot at night. The other video was worse in nature. I will warn you before we even get to it. The other video showed what appeared to be Hunter Allen. He was holding a baby and they get out of the vehicle. Hunter, this baby, and who I assume is Ryan. They get out of the vehicle, they start to walk in the house, and then you can see Ryan backing up Hunter, like walking toward her, grabs her neck and pushes her or backs her into a car by holding her neck, and then she falls to the ground and he walks off. I don't know the day or the time that this video occurred. It certainly could have occurred on the night that Hunter died before he left his home. Now, I've said this before and I stick by this. I mean this with my whole heart. I will not defend domestic violence. I have been in a relationship with domestic violence and I don't want that for anybody. In my opinion, it doesn't change the fact that Hunter was murdered. Hunter left the situation and he was followed. Is what happened terrible on that video? Yes, it was very difficult for me to watch. I can't imagine how much more difficult it must have been to experience. But he left and he was followed. That being said, and I'm going to have to talk quickly because I'm running out of time here, I am just a person who makes videos on TikTok and YouTube. I'm just a normal person. I'm not a journalist. I just like talking about true crime. I do not enjoy that true crime happens. I enjoy sharing it when it does happen to have something to connect with other people. I don't like that people are murdered. To me, it's awful. And there's never a circumstance where I'm like, oh, you know what? That person should have not been living any longer. I don't feel that way at all. And I've said this in some of my videos. Life is valuable. It is very valuable. And I wouldn't want anyone's life taken. So I share videos on the internet. I share things that happen in court. I share court documents. I share crime. I try to share missing persons cases. I try to share unsolved cases. I talk about these things. I hope for justice. I just share. That's what I do. It has never been and will never be my intent to make a video, post it to TikTok or YouTube, and for you guys to go and show a person hate. I don't want you guys taking anything that I have said and using it to cause more distress in a person's life, whether you think that that person should be in jail or should not be in jail. I don't want that. What I hope for is justice through the court system. And maybe that'll happen or maybe it doesn't happen. But I don't ever want to torment or cause torment for another person just based on something I said. I want justice in a legal sense. I appreciate all of your support. I really do. It means more to me than you know. Every single time that you guys watch one of my videos, comment on one of my videos, share one of my videos, that's a connection from me to you guys. And that connection alone means so much to me, more than you'll ever know. But with that connection and finding out more about the state that we live in and the crimes that happen here and the people that go missing here and seeking justice for the people that live here, I hope that you guys will show kindness to one another when it's possible. That's something that means something. You can show kindness and still seek justice in a legal sense. Just don't be hateful to each other. Also, another thing that I wanted to say, I try to keep my opinions out of most videos. Do my opinions creep into videos sometimes? Yes, of course they do, because I'm the one making the video and I sometimes give my life experience or my opinion with that. Should I? Probably not. Have I in this case? I have, yes. But let's be clear, my opinion is that there should be legal justice for Hunter Allen. Not harassment of Ryan, not harassment of Brett, just legal justice. Now, the legal system has said that this was justified murder, but that doesn't mean that that will always be the situation. And I do think that you can bring out details of a crime, you can bring out facts, things can happen, and a prosecutor can opt in the future to file charges on a crime such as this, a murder. There's always hope. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox. You guys have a good night. I'm going to share the screenshots. This message says you're a sick bee to even be posting your husband. You killed him along with your pig brother, rot in prison bee. It won't take them long to figure out what you did. You're a disgusting human being. April says, look, I don't want to go to Facebook with what I have to say, but my thing is you are steady talking about his family. Yeah, we get that they weren't in Hunter's life a select amount of years, and family members do that from time to time. At the end of the day, Ryan, you were wrong for going to his mom's house after you said he beat you the way he supposedly have beaten you. Now, come on, he is no longer here because of the BS. And yes, I know a lot more than you think I know, and you have so much to do with this, with his death. And it's sad to say, but I hope they find justice for my boy because he deserves it. I'm sick of seeing all this. To that, Ryan says, you have no idea what his family had done to him. You have no idea all the hell he's been through and how hard we fought to heal him from his life. Did not go there to kill him. I am angry at my brother. I did not shoot him. I did not go there to have this happen. I went there to save him from relapsing. I don't give a F what y'all think, and if Hunter knew this was how it was going down between his family to his wife, he wouldn't put up with it. Y'all saw Hunter happy, but I saw Hunter at his worst, begging to end it all multiple times. I'm not arguing over this. I'm going to love and mourn my husband. And April responds, honey, family go through stuff and heal at the same time. You are throwing his childhood life at those people. Yeah, our husbands are going to vent to us at the same time. You are using it as a crutch to make those people feel bad when, baby, you created this mess. Do you not know? We know you called your brother from another Super Bowl party, and those folks you called, and y'all magically ended up at Hunter's mom house. Ryan, you are wrong. And yeah, I'm one B that will tell you when you wrong at this point. I don't give a F about you being mad because believe it or not, I'm more madder than you and I'm done because y'all are some murderers and I said what I said. God don't like ugly and y'all gonna get yours. So Ryan says don't show up at the funeral and she said B, I wasn't coming anyway. F you ugly half dead man looking ass. And Annabelle says, worthless POS is all I see, you and your whole family. I will never tell the whole story, is exactly what a guilty, worthless piece of S would say about their husband's murder at the hands of your own piece of S, worthless brother. It must run in the family. You deserve no title as his wife because you did nothing to protect him in his last moments. You did nothing to de escalate the situation and instead handed your brother the very weapon that killed him. Imagine that. These are some photos of injuries that Ryan Allen shared to her Facebook page. If she specified where these injuries came from, I did not see it, but I speculate that they are injuries that came from that night. Man, Truman police officer Brett Williams just cannot stay out of the news today, so I actually have two articles that I'm going to discuss. I like the first one better, so I'm going to talk about that one first. Apparently, yesterday on Monday, February 19th at 8:02 p.m., Jonesboro police officers were dispatched to an address in Jonesboro regarding stolen property. So when they got to that address, they talked to someone who had found stolen law enforcement property, a law enforcement laptop, and some textbooks. They say the laptop was open and it looked like someone had tried to stomp on it to break it, but they were able to get shoe prints and fingerprints. The article goes on to say that it was later determined that the items belonged to Brett Williams, the Truman police officer and murderer of Hunter Allen. So around 9 p.m., they met up with Brett. Brett was like, yeah, my truck got broken into. There's surveillance footage showing four juveniles walking near where Williams' truck was parked, and then one of them carries away his stolen backpack. There hasn't been an arrest in that case. Now, I do want to clarify before anyone gets mad, I do not like thieves. I do not condone stealing. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's like a pack of gum. I don't like stealing. I just dislike murder more. In other news, and honestly a totally expected move by the Craighead County prosecutor, they have decided to not file charges in the murder of Hunter Allen. This doesn't mean that Hunter Allen wasn't murdered. It means that the prosecutor has deemed that his murder was justified. It should come as no surprise that I wholeheartedly disagree with this, but I will review the article. So it was announced today that according to the prosecutor in that district, Brett Williams' actions were lawfully present at the residence. I don't even feel like Brett Williams was lawfully present at the residence. He had no reason to be there. So, as we all know, law officers from the Monette Police Department and the Craighead County Sheriff's Office responded for a domestic disturbance on Sunday, February 11th, that night. The prosecutor says that the evidence shows that Stephen Hunter Allen attacked Brett Williams and that Brett Williams made several attempts to calm Allen down. It also goes on to say that Brett Williams tried to leave at least 2 times and that Allen continued to confront him and physically fight him, including throwing an iron chair at him at least twice. According to witness statements, Hunter Allen threw a chair at Brett Williams a 3rd time and said, "You better shoot me or I'm going to unalive you." So Brett Williams put 2 in his chest. There are so many things about this. First of all, Ryan Allen, in her own post, said that she knew that Hunter Allen was having a mental health crisis. Brett Williams, Ryan Allen, who is Hunter's wife, and Brett and Ryan's mother went to the house that Hunter was at, which I believe is Hunter's parents' house, right? They followed him over there. Hunter had left the home that he and Ryan shared together because he was having a mental health crisis. He needed to get away, he needed to cool down, whatever. He left. They followed him. They went to go get him to bring him back. So you can't say, I don't feel like you can say, well, I followed him over here. I pushed the issue and pushed the issue and tried to get him to come back home with us. But then also in the same breath say, but he was throwing a chair at me and I tried to leave. You tried to leave after you followed him over there, though? You did that? The third thing is that 5 minutes went by between the time that Brett Williams called 911 to say that he was locked outside the house and that Hunter was in the house with Ryan, locked inside that house with Ryan. But then he wants to say, like 5 minutes later, he's saying that Hunter was throwing chairs at him and he tried to leave, but you could have left when you were standing outside on the phone with 911 if you really wanted to get away. And maybe I'm just looking at this in the wrong light, and I would be open to feedback on that, but I really feel like the opportunity was there for him to get away. The final thing is that people are going to protect their own, right? Police officers are going to protect police officers, families are going to protect families. The only people, to my knowledge, that were there to give statements are Ryan's family, Brett's family. And I'm not saying whether they told the truth or they lied, but it would be nothing for them to have all told the same story for the purpose of preserving their own family member. So, in a situation like this, all of the family members telling the same story, all the witnesses telling the same story, it really doesn't do anything for me to convince me that this is what actually happened and that the shooting was justified. The bottom line is that they followed him over there, they pursued him, and then he winds up dead. Maybe he did throw a chair or 2 or 3. Maybe he did make an outburst. You better shoot me or I'm going to unalive you. That to me does not rise to the point of threatening enough to shoot someone not once but twice. If they were so concerned, if he loved Hunter and he just wanted to make sure that no one was harmed, could he not have shot him in a non lethal way? I mean, shooting someone in the chest is not a lot different than shooting them in the head. You know what I mean? It's going to kill them almost every time. And this was the video footage that was shared by Ryan Allen. Again, she didn't specify, or I didn't see it specified where the footage came from, but I assume it was that night before Hunter left his home.